This week, Michael Carrington, who's the chair of one of the local town political committees, sent a very healing email to his group. And I forwarded that on to some people, and one person who received the forward to me emailed me back and said, "Michael is so positive, and I truly love his message. However, right now I'm feeling really disappointed, upset, sad, furious, and feel like I lost the will to fight. Thankfully, not everyone feels the same, and I am grateful to him." And after she shared that message with me, I asked Michael if he would come and speak to us about his message. So please welcome back Michael Carrington.
Thanks, Rick. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to read the entire message, but so I am in charge of the Democratic Town Committee here in Southbury. I also was involved a lot in the Johanna Hayes campaign and Ed Edelson's campaign, Jeff Desmaris's campaign, a little bit with Chris Murphy's campaign. Elections obviously end on election day, and you get the results. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But the day after, you kind of have to start preparing for the next one, because I know that's daunting. I'm not saying you can't take a little bit of time to collect your thoughts, heal, rest up, practice self-care. But what you're talking about with values, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a third party, whatever, everybody has their values, and elections are sort of arbitrary. They're just that one Tuesday in November, and then we have another one next November. It's a municipal election, but we're going to have one. Then we're going to have midterms 2 Novembers from now. We may have special elections in between. Then we have another municipal election, and then 4 years from now we're going to have another presidential election. I do not believe that this was the last election you ever have to vote for. I think the work will continue. And I think that it's natural to feel an incredible amount of pain. I know a lot of people do. And I particularly think if you're in the group of women or minorities or the LGBTQ community, I understand the pain. And I'm not trying to dismiss that in any way. But if you want to be part of the process forward, I would highly recommend getting involved with an organized effort. Judy just mentioned the numbers. We're still getting the numbers, so we don't have all of the narratives yet. Right now, I'm sure there's a lot of wondering how this happened, why did this happen. We're going to get that. We're going to get there with the data, and then we're going to try to figure out how to piece together a stronger message next time around. I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm extremely proud of President Biden. I'm extremely proud of Vice President Kamala Harris. And then on a local level, you can only control what you can control. Here in Southbury, it doesn't feel good, but there is a lot of reason to feel pretty good. We did actually elect Kamala Harris. I was a little surprised at that, especially when you looked at the national direction. Kamala became only the second Democrat to win in Southbury since 1964. Chris Murphy won Southbury outright. That was the first Democratic senator to ever win Southbury. And Johanna Hayes had 49.6% of the vote. That was her best showing in Southbury ever. So, and I think Justice Southbury is a part of that. I'd like to say the Southbury Democratic Town Committee is a part of that. But that is what we can control in our community. Now, we don't live in Pennsylvania, we don't live in Wisconsin, etc. But we should feel good about some of the efforts that we can control. And for anybody who wants to feel more involved, there's a lot of, I think, rewarding feeling when you make a phone call, when you knock on a door, when you write a postcard, when you write a letter to the editor. Coming to Justice Southbury rallies, that's great too, but being part of an organized campaign is great too. And there's going to be a lot of them. The work will continue. The beat will go on. I think Susan Boritz mentioned that the sun came up on Wednesday and Thursday. It's going to hurt. I mean, this is going to be a really weird next few years, but one thing about being in the Democratic Town Committee as opposed to just being in a campaign is that no matter what happened, okay, I got to start planning what we're doing in January and what we're doing in February and March and stuff. So being able to kind of think about the next steps, and there always will be next steps. And in the broader context of American history, progress is not linear. The civil rights movement sometimes took a few steps forward and then unfortunately a few steps backwards. And it's up to us to keep fighting for our values every day, every year, on an election, after an election, before the next election. You know, it doesn't really end. And I think about, you know, a lot of the messaging, and I'm gonna really try to listen and try to figure out a way that gets more people out there, and can you know, produce national victories in the future. But in the meantime, I'm going to control what I can control, and I would welcome anyone along for the ride, because we're gonna fight and we're gonna win together. All right, and there's no reason to feel down. We're still together. We're still a town. We're still a community, and we only have one way to go, and that's forward. Thanks.